So, this session talks about how to pick orders when orders are placed, either in the supermarket chain or maybe in a typical warehouse system, right? So, all these concepts we are learning are not only for a big warehouse per se only, but also to equip you with the techniques and tools that we can use to manage a supermarket chain where goods are arranged and people can place orders, and then orders will be selected and the orders will be provided. Imagine you place order. Some of you are using Temu, who are using Gigi, who are using AliExpress, Amazon. Which other ones are there? Yeah. Or don't go too far away. A tasty chef, or you go to Osekrom check joint, and you say, okay, I want rice and chicken. So there are various ways or techniques that various um, businesses use to process those pick the orders, and then process it for you. In some places, you see that, or even just go to Antimases Chop Bar behind ATL, or maybe your favorite wache joint at Ajare's place, um, or at Cold Market, Aisha's Gobe. You see, you may see different arrangements at different places. You go to some of the places, for example, and then one person, if there are about, let's say there are about five people who are buying the same thing, Gobe at, let's say, Aisha's place. You see, sometimes when you go, you see that someone will start the order, and then um, get will pick the bowl, get the Gobe inside, and maybe the beans and the gari. And then once they are done, they push it. The person will leave it to another person to add uh, the cocoa and maybe egg and other things to it. At other times or other places, you see that the same person will attend to one person. Once the person picks the order or pick the gari and the beans, the person will leave where the gari and the beans is to the next to go and pick the cocoa, whilst another person, attendant, also attends the next customer. So either one person is going through the entire process and giving the final product to the customer, or it may be group, so that when the wache is in the bowl, they send it to the person who will give you sauce and maybe the other things like Gary and co, and then you sometimes you take it to another place and make payment. Okay, so every environment and how it is arranged. So let's look at some of those ways. So order picking basically is how we extract inventory, or we get the things that customers want. So how do we extract inventory and give to the customer upon placing order? Yeah. And the replenishing is how do we restock when the stocks are used up? How do we make sure we get stocks in place? That is replenishment, basically. So let's look at the types of picking. One is what we call the zone picking. So the zone picking is a typical situation I described earlier, where there will be different zones. Maybe take it like a buffet. Let me put it this way. You can relate more with this as a buffet. So when you go to a buffet, there's a place where you have to start from. You have to pick the bowl, maybe pick the rice, go to where the veggies are, take protein, take some sauce, and then that's the end. So you see that each of these stages are called zones. Okay, zone one. So you definitely have to start from zone one, where you can pick the plate before you continue with the rest. Yeah. So that is a typical system. You go to some warehouses or supermarkets that when order is placed, people move from one zone to another. Sometimes when you place these orders online, you are not there you have placed orders for about 10 different items. They will pick them zone after zone, and then they put it together, and then it's delivered to you. So that is how it is. So each zone will contain similar items. As you can see, this one, zone one, is basically for footwear. So if you place order for footwear, and let's say watches, I think watch is zone three. So, and belt is zone four, and cap is zone two. So if you place order for footwear and watches, it means that you have to get to zone one and zone three, and then you can put together. But if you place order for all these, it will move from footwear to cap to watches to belts, and then it ends. So that is how the zone system works. Then we have what we call the discrete picking. Okay, so unlike the uh, this zone picking where the item or the order moves from one zone to another. So sometimes it's even automated when the thing moves from zone one to zone two, zone three. The discrete one, only one person is assigned. Okay, so there's nothing like specific zone. So the person will go and pick all the items together and then send them to or dispatch it to the customer. All right. So there's no picking that is assigned to any particular zone. Yeah, but it's done. One picker does all the picking and then put it in one order for the customer. Then we have what we call batch. The batch picking is when maybe, let's say, we have opened our shop for, let's say, 12 hours, or some shops are even open 24 hours, online shop especially. So you can see that, okay, all the orders that we receive between 9 o'clock and 10 a.m. Uh, uh, will be handled by one person, maybe one order picker. Say, let's say Adelaide would be the one to pick all the orders for that come between 9 and 10. So Adelaide will go to the warehouse with all the orders between 9 and 10. And then Adelaide will now pick order for each customer, assuming the customers are Jude. So Adelaide will pack Jude's order, and then pack Aminat's order, pack Alfred's order, and pack Alberta's order. Okay, so all these things. So Adelaide is working. So when Adelaide goes to the shelves to pick the items, Adelaide will have to decide among these four orders that we have, how many Coke have you ordered? Okay, three of them have ordered Coke, one each. So that will be 3 bottles of Coke. Or two people ordered Coke, one ordered 5, one ordered 2. That will be 7. So you pick all of them together in that what we call aggregate inventory. You pick biscuit, you pick everything that has been ordered, and then you bring them later, and then you sort them out. Instead of going pick one Coke and come up, pick for one person, you put all the orders that come in a particular batch or time duration together, pick them before you come and package them. So that's a typical example of these batch operations. Yeah, then we have what we call the wave cluster picking. So with the wave cluster picking, what will happen is that you as unlike the batch operations, you as the order picker, assuming this time you've gotten orders from Benedicta, Bridges, Kofi, and let's say Percy. If you have all these orders, you go to the shelf, and then you don't put all these orders together before you come and separate them. You go with the package for all these three people. Like when you go to Wache joint, it said I want 3 packs of or 4 packs of Wache. So you see that they will scoop all the four separately. Aha. So you can go with the package, and then okay, this order one is David's order is uh, uh, 2 bottles of uh, 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 wine, uh, three biscuits, this and that, and I put all of them together. But you don't come back before you go to the next. So you can package that one and then put them in either on whatever equipment you go with, whether it's the basket or trolley. Then you place another order and then you put that one also. So you see that sometimes you go and to check joint and then they are working on, let's say, cluster multiple orders at the same time. So you see that they'll pick the first five orders, they'll work on them separately. When they are done, they serve those five people, then take the next order. It's in that order. I think it happened the check joint at Malcolm. That's that those who buy from that place. Been a long time, it's been more than 2 years since I bought from there. There was time I didn't enjoy the food and that. But you've seen some of those clusters before. Uh, so you go, they will serve a particular batch, maybe five people at a time. That's a cluster, not a batch, sorry, a cluster. So each person, so it's a bit different from the batch operations where we pick all the items before we come and put them in the order. Now you put the you make the you put you pick the orders and separate them at source on the shelf, right? Please, you can always ask a question if you don't understand anything, so you don't have to wait till the end, okay? Yeah. So it also is in high volume operations, weight picking is often used together with zone picking so that it can be automated. So we can say that order one, for example, if it's a zone picking, normally zone pickings are automated system where the thing move from one zone to another. So you can have a conveyor belt around. So order one, if it gets to zone A, if zone one is for shoes, if order one has shoes in it, the package will stop at zone one and then they will add the shoe. But if it has no shoes in it, it will move to maybe zone two where there's a cap. So that is how these things work. Okay. So it will work, go through all the four zones, for example, or 10 zones, and each zone that the thing gets to, it has a sensor, so it knows that package one will have to pick items from zone one, zone six, and zone nine, and package two will pick from zone two, three, and four, and maybe zone 10. So when the package that gets to those zones, it will stop. Otherwise, it will not stop when there's no order for that particular item in that zone. So it's a bit how do you call it, automated. Like I said, I think we still need to see if we can be able to visit the one of the warehouses soon. I always forget about this, but um, yeah, I would probably have to go and check availability if they will admit at this one nearby around the Fort Ridge in Kamfua Junction, so we can be able to have a look what kind of system they have there. Okay. Then we have pick by line or pick to zero. So normally this happens when you have to pick a particular or specific items. Okay, so you see that they will, like we have the FIFO kind of thing, you pick the thing one after the other, and then until that line is so you don't go and just be picking things from multiple shelves. You pick when this line is exhausted before you go to the next line, but they may be similar items. This colors the idea. So example here, if UCC stores receive 5 orders for various quantities of stationery, including pens, papers, paper clips, staplers, erasers, correction fluids, markers, yeah, dusters, and tampons. Once a unit of any of these items arrive, items, okay, not the orders, but the item, maybe let's say correction fluids or markers. When they arrive, the order picking area will quickly put it together. We must exhaust fulfilling all orders that are for specific item before moving to the next unit load. So this particular, so when a thing comes, we have to make sure we finish everything from correction fluid, then we move to the next item until we get to the end. So they're interrelated, uh, um, kind of a zone. It has a zone element in it. Yeah. Okay, then so this method may be appropriate where different equipment is used for picking different types of product, so that when we have just one single um, order, you can just put the quantities together, one after the other, and then by the time if you, so you can take, so okay, we are done with this one. It takes, like when you go to maybe supermarket chain like Malcolm, for example, when you are after paying for items, you see that when you are moving, you get checked. So they will picking the items one after the other. The one that they inspect, they take it, or they cross it out to show that they have it. So these are some of the technologies or uh, 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 terms they use for those kind of checking. Okay, that is it about that. Then we look at the other side, which is receiving and dispatching. When you are receiving items into the store, receiving items into the store really, really important. Normally, input come, we receive them, and then we ship them out. So in receiving, there are certain things that we do, including schedule carrier. Scheduling a carrier means scheduling what equipment or transport vehicle that will bring the item. Then when the vehicle arrives, you unload it, you inspect for damages to see whether there are some items that are damaged. So if you inspect for damage and there's the item damage, you have to isolate those ones, account for them separately. Those that are in correct order, yeah, then you allow them to go into the process to be received. Then you compare to purchase order. That's the PO. Remember, you place a purchase order to your supplier. So your supplier comes with items, compare with your purchase order, whether the items you ordered are the items you have received. Then warehouse processes, you have put away, and we have storage, you have shipping prep, and we have order picking. We have just done the order picking, which we discussed, but the put away means that when the items come, you inspect and they are uh, good to go. Yeah, then it's passed. Those that are not damaged, they are put away. They are sent to where they are supposed to be. Sometimes they are given uh how do you call it, QR code numbers, okay, or QR numbers, right? Okay. And then that would help us to know where they will be sent. Some warehouses have sophisticated systems because they deal in several thousands of items. So you can't have human beings carrying everything. So machines would label where they are supposed to go to, and conveyor belts will automatically pick them and transport them to where they are supposed to be. And then humans can probably go to inspect to see that things are right. Then the storage is where it will be kept after it's put away, sent to the storage. And then order picking, whether you're going to do batch, discrete, or whatever, and then it will get shipped to the customer. So this is the procedure that things go through in the warehouse to uh, until it is loaded and sent to the various customers. Sometimes, if it's not buying and selling, this is a typical buying and selling kind of thing. If it's not buying and selling, the receiving may be coming from a manufacturing plant. If it's a manufacturing business, it comes from a manufacturing plant. And so we are receiving it in inventory for sale. Or sometimes we are receiving the materials and we put away, we store. Then instead of going to order picking, what we do is that issue to production. After production, it comes back to finished good warehouse as receiving. And then now we can go through this process and then sell to our customers. So basically, the idea of order picking and dispatching is how we can receive things in warehouses and keep them safe for successful operation or for sales to our customers. So the receiving procedure is needed to properly inspect all incoming goods. So you don't just things don't just come and you send it. There was a time they delivered food for me from one food joint, and I actually ordered jollof rice and fried pork. So the thing got here, and when I didn't check it and I paid. When the person left, it was fried rice instead of jollof rice and chicken. And when I called, said, our jollof rice got finished. We sorry, we forgot to tell you, and then the pork too, it got finished. So you just give me what you want me to eat, not what I want to eat, without consulting me. So it's very important so that you don't have surprises. If you go and buy iPhone at Circle, or KJTR Market, roadside, please don't blame me when you get home and you see stone. So receiving of orders should go through some properly arranged system where you can inspect. Yeah, people, I think these days people are more aware, but those days you can go and buy phone at Circle in Accra. By the time you get home, the thing is a stone. But they will show you the phone. You even touch it and feel it too. But the process of putting that thing in a bag for you can go through a complicated uh, process in a twinkling of an eye, before you realize, sharp, you are in trouble. So when things come to you, either sometimes it's deliberate or by mistake or by oversight, they can actually ship the wrong things to you. All right. So it has happened before sometimes, like I think that was in 2014 or so. I was returning from Germany to Ghana. My luggage supposed to arrive in Accra. When I got to Accra, my luggage actually was not there, and it was traced to Spain, Malaga. My luggage was in Malaga. Mhm. So you have to go to receiving a process. I have to file for um, my luggage to be returned and all that. So the same with anything that is brought to you. That's why when in marriage, you see that they will say you have to unveil the bride to see whether is this the woman you really want to marry. You have to check, right? That is basically the process of receiving, right? And then when you say yes, this is the woman I want to marry, say you may kiss your bride. So basically, that is the process of getting your things done or coming to you. And preparation before things actually arrive at the warehouse, you need to prepare. Okay, the warehouse, you need to do some cleaning, book vehicles that will bring the items, yeah, in readiness. And then when the thing arrives, it gets to the gatehouse, it has to be checked to be sure that they have a pass or they have to enter the garage. So before they even arrive, you have to inform the security at the gate that we are expecting this kind of goods or items from this car. Sometimes they even give you the car number, the type of car or truck or cargo, so that when they arrive, you know that this is it. All right. Then unloading. Now that the things have arrived, we have to unload them. Check whether you are going to use conveyor belt, manual interface, or whichever way to unload the cars. And then you cross-check to see that all the things that have arrived are in line with what they have told us it should be. Okay. Like cross-checking with the PO, the purchase orders. All right. And then sometimes we have what we call advance notice. Okay. Advance shipping notice. Once the things are coming, they will tell you, okay, our truck is leaving Accra now. That is 9:49, and we expect it to arrive in Cape Coast in 4 hours' time. So let's say 10 plus 4, let's say 2 p.m., right? So you'll be expecting it. So those things help people to prepare. And then once we see, and then inspection is very important. We talked about inspection earlier to be sure it meets the purchase order. And also, not only that, to see that they are not damaged. Okay, those that are damaged will have to be separated and maybe ask for refund, or they have to replenish it on their next order or any other form. So they can be visual inspection and physical inspection. Visual inspection is just having a look. You look with your eye, where physical inspection, you can sample a few of them, and then you can examine it with your hand to see whether they are in good shape. Yeah. Then documentation. After inbound deliveries have been made or passed through inspection, we have to update our record to say that this amount of goods have been received. That's goods received note will be have to be issued and then entered into our inventory. Then processing for storage. Now they have to be tagged. Their names have to be on it. Sometimes price tags can be added to them before they even sent to the storage or to the shelves or warehouse. Sometimes you need to palletize them or unify them or what we call unit loads. You put them together. Some of the things might come and then you put it together. If you are preparing uh, a bouquet, for example, then maybe you want to pick a few items, put them together, and then can be able to um, work on it together. Yeah. Um, any questions so far? If anyone has a question, you can ask, you can mute yourself and ask, then we continue. Um, okay. We are ending in some 5 to 10 minutes, almost there. So sometimes we have the photoelectric scanning systems that can, it's like X-ray kind of system that can scan through things, even though they are in a box, to see whether there are some breakages or they are okay. Some things you cannot open them and physically examine them, so you have to use certain equipment to see whether they are in good form or not. So we can use photoelectric scanning systems. Yeah. Then we have talked about put away. That is when the items have been passed, gone through physical, visual, photoelectric examination. Oh, they are all good. Then we pass them, put them away for storage. So a key objective of designing the receiving process is to enable the goods to be put away to the required location in the warehouse with the minimum handling and minimum delay possible. So we don't need to be waiting when the things are there. They will all be gathered. Sometimes you go to some warehouse, all the things are at the entrance for hours. No, now, I mean, the good system, one of the things is, they are put away to the right place and then they stay there until we need them. Then order picking, that is when the things now are in store and then we are dispatching the items. We have to pick the order. I remember we started this session with order picking. So whichever technique, whether you are going to use the Zool batch or whatever discrete, you have to make sure you do that and deliver the goods to the customer. So the dispatch process may involve added value activities such as labeling, tagging, assembly, testing, and maybe packing into cartons. Yeah, so sometimes your items come and they are neatly packed into cartons. Maybe you have ordered just things like biscuits, Coke, and other things, but they will put all of them together, nicely done. It makes it look really nice. Some warehouses also perform some light manufacturing general assembly. Maybe it's a table you have ordered, sometimes they can assemble it for you so that it comes in a form that you don't have to know all that, right? Yeah, so um, uh, that is how it works. Then loading, once the things have been packed properly, they can be loaded onto trucks and then they can be sent to the various uh, destinations and then we can sell those things and make our money. Yeah. So loading is often an activity that needs to take place within a short period of time because most of the vehicles may need to leave about the same time of the day. So sometimes you see that loading can be done over long hours if the exit point is only one. But if you know that you have multiple trucks moving at the same time, then you can also decide to move the trucks. You have multiple outlets from the warehouse so that you can even have geographical outlets. Those that are going to Takoradi will use the west gate of the warehouse. Those going to Accra will use the north gate or east gate. They're going to Kumasi will use the south gate. So you can have those things in the warehouse. So it's easy. So you can just use conveyors and have few people monitoring the movement of items. Yeah. So Yeah. Oh no, let me go back one more step. So this can be alleviated by preloading drop trailers also. You can also use preloading drop trailers. So we have trailers can come, we load them, and then when they are ready, then their head will come and pick the trailer away. Trailer, you see long trucks, the back of the where the driver sits is the drop trailer. That's the back, the long one where the goods are carried. So we can have you can buy your own trailers and keep them. So by the time the big trailer comes from Accra to come and carry the goods, they are already loaded, preloaded. So you don't have to wait because when they wait, you pay monies for hours that the trailer is spending in your yard. So you can buy your own trailer back and keep it, and then you load the thing. When it comes, it will leave its back and take this new the one you have loaded because they are almost the same. And then they just take it away. There are ways to handle these things. Yeah. So that's what we call swapping of body. Okay. You swap the body with the one that is there, and then you take the new one and go. Yeah. Yeah. So in a situation like this, the vehicle fleet is designed to have more articulated trailers than tractor units. So we have the tractor unit, which is the head. Then we can have about 10 tractor units, but we can have, let's say, 20 or 15 uh, um, uh, articulated trailers. The articulated trailer is the back, okay, where the goods are carried. So if you do that, there will be always be five that are not in use. So we can load those five. When this truck comes, they'll come and pick and go. And then what they will also leave the empty one, we will look for the other ones to come. So it makes movement easy. Okay. So the extra trailers or the swap bodies can just be preloaded while the vehicles are still delivering the previous loads. That's what I've explained earlier. So, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for today. So, end of lecture. And any questions before we go?